And again, before I leave the area, I just want to illustrate that there are no burnt poles or wires. There's not even transformers. Nothing's down. No new poles have been installed. We had multiple fires in the county. Another elderly community called Fairfield Glade had a fire going at the same time, and that might be why that the emergency responders didn't show up, because they were already at the other end of the county at the Fairfield Glade fire trying to protect that senior community. A lot of people there can't walk. I find it interesting that this is happening around the senior places where they can't get to safety. That's a big concern. I've been a caregiver, and it's disturbing that nobody showed up to help get them out of harm's way. We're getting to the houses now, and this is the neighborhood that it almost got burned up, where my friends live. It was burning her back fence, and she didn't even know it was out there because she had her curtains drawn. Thank goodness somebody told her that it's, fixing to burn you alive, because she can't walk and her daughter can't walk, and they had a whole paw patrol of animals to rescue, so they barely made it out in time. And there was no way that any responders could have stopped this fire. It was going so fast and furious, and the winds, the tornado winds, and the rain had not arrived. And so what few people knew it was happening was praying real hard, and me and my neighbor was one of them. We were praying for the protection of God to not let these elderly burn alive. All of a sudden, while we're praying, the wind changed directions. I assume it was from a backdraft because of the wind coming off of this ginormous fire. It lit up the sky like sunrise on a tequila sunrise. It was quite scary and moving fast, very big. All these houses here would be gone except for the grace of God. The wind turned, went the opposite direction, and the rain came. So that's why we got so blessed. I did hear one lady lost her home. Never have got word if she's dead or alive. Still hasn't been put on the local news in any kind of fashion. By 2 a.m., the Ben Lomond internet service had come to put a generator at the internet box across from my house, and as well as the few people that did get the alert were all there at the school, the evacuation zone. We were having transformers did break by the school, but they didn't start a fire. The wind off of this storm and this fire together combined was tornadic winds that took out here on the main road where we're heading towards. It took the power lines down. The tornadic winds and the fire tornado winds blowed down the trees on the main road out here on 70, and So that's where we lost the power, was the wind off this fire and the tornadoes that was moving through blew down a bunch of trees and power lines on the main road. But back here, everything's intact. I couldn't even find any telephone poles burned or transformers at all. Let's go down this little road. This is Swofford. Signs laid over. They pull these signs up at the high crime areas around here so that any new police or responders, they have a hard time finding it. And even when I googled Isabella Road, it told me it was out on the main road. Finally had to get with a neighbor to ask where Isabella was, where the fire started at Browntown and Isabella, because Google Maps led me out here to the main road to the country store in the opposite direction. It looks like somebody's awfully busy scrambling stuff on that computer all the time. We found our roads just fine before Starlink took over last Monday. Now we don't have any, our emergency alerts aren't working. They still aren't working. It's pretty much the whole Sparta, Crossville, Bon Air area is where nobody's getting any alerts. I don't know if Swofford dead ends, or I've never been down this before, but so right looking behind these houses, it was just right at their back door, right at the moment when it stopped. The wind changed direction and the rain came. So this looks like it's gonna be a dead end, best I can tell. Let's see if it does go around this way anywhere. An abandoned house. We've got a lot of abandoned properties. They're in people's names from up north and they don't use them, and that was the same thing that was happening up in Hammond on the FBI website. Told us that they were buying them in crooked backdoor deals for cheap. Mr. Gutierrez is no longer allowed to own homes, but he has several here. Good old southern folks. It looks like they had a little fire there, jumped over here from it. There, see where it's all plowed and burned. So it jumped over here. But yeah, fire nados were jumping for several hundred yards and landing somewhere else. Now we do have a power line down here, or a wire in the street. You see the cable. There's no burn marks around it. And they've already replaced it, so no fire around that. It goes to right there. Whoop, let's see. Goes to right there. So far, that's the only one I've seen that could be attributed to the fire. Or, well, it's not burned, so it wasn't attributed to the fire, but it's nothing burned. So, and that's the transformer, but it didn't burn and it didn't break, so that's not the problem. Most of these folks don't even know about the takeover by the Yankees from Hammond. They don't know about why all the village is sitting empty and nobody is using the houses. They're just all in somebody's name. Somebody pays the $500 a month and doesn't use them, and they're just sitting there rotting empty. They're not climate controlled, so they're all rotting. We'll take another video when I get back to town.